This is George Dionne of the Rock is George podcast, and this is a KNAC.com exclusive interview with the queen of heavy metal, DORO PESCH. If I knew absolutely nothing about Doro, how would you describe your music to me?
I would say it's powerful, it's meaningful, it's full of emotion, has great melodies, great anthems, and it can really, really make you feel good and feel empowered. Yeah.
I would absolutely agree with that assessment, especially on your upcoming album, Conqueress, Forever Strong and Proud, that comes out on October 27th, Nuclear Blast. This is your 18th solo album. From what I understand, you've been working on this one for a little bit.
Yes, man, I didn't even count it. 18. Oh, okay. Oh my God. And then with Warlock was 4. Actually, to me, there was not much difference between the Warlock thing and the Doro albums. But yeah, I was working on it 3 years, and I had lots and lots of ideas flowing out, and then we talked about it, and the record company said, okay, 10 songs, that's enough. And I said, no, that's not enough, because I want to give out more. It's impossible, just 10 songs. Yeah, and then song by song was flowing out. And the last song which was recorded was Total Eclipse of the Heart with ROB Halford. And I'm so honored and so grateful that he did actually 2 duets on this album, Living After Midnight and Total Eclipse of the Heart. It's a dream come true. I was always a big Priest fan. It was my very first tour in the 80s, my first big tour in 1986. We played all over in Europe, and then we hopped on tour with Wasp in England, 86. Yeah, and then we went to America, and oh my God, it was so great. We always stayed friends. We always met each other on festivals. And then last year we played Hellfest together, and then we were hanging out backstage and talking a little bit. And then we said, hey, it's about time we should do something together. And then I said, Rob, my wish would be Living After Midnight, because I sang it so many times in the 80s, usually with other bands when we were on tour with other bands. And that was before All We Are was out, before The Triumph and Agony was out. And towards the end of a tour, we always said, we have to do something together. And then we said, what shall we do? And it was either Breaking the Law or Living After Midnight, because everybody knew it. And then it was always a big, it felt so good. It was a big party. So I want to do Living After Midnight. And Rob said, and I would, for many years, I want to do that song with you, Total Eclipse of the Heart. And I said, really, Total Eclipse of the Heart? Wow, that's a Jim Steinman production. That's pretty involved. And then we did it. And that was actually the last song which got recorded. And I'm so happy. And I think he sounds so awesome on it. And wow, it's great. So I'm over the moon happy. And yeah.
Those are definitely 2 of the premier songs from this album, but you also have a single out right now, which is called Time for Justice. It's kind of one of your signature Doro anthems.
Yes, you think? Yes, I think so too. And did you see the video yet?
Yes, I did. I wanted to know if you did that on location or that was computer trickery.
Oh, no, it was all location. Everything is real. Everything is handmade. We almost got killed because of the fire. So it was like the good old videos. No, it was like, these guys you see, guys and girls, they call Wasteland Warriors. And I met them in Wacken for the first time, I think 10 years ago. And I always want to do something together. And yeah, and then when we said, okay, this song should be the first single, the first video, then I called them up and I said, I would love if you guys could be involved, if we could do it together. And I said, we are there, we are ready. So we did it in, it was an old factory in Germany. And then they schlepped on all their, they have these motorcycles. I think they're handmade, and cars and stuff. And then it looked like a little Mad Max movie. And I loved it. And I had a dog in the video. I always love animals and dogs, but I can't have any pets because of touring and stuff. But I always try to, to sneak something in. So I want to have a dog. And that was pretty funny. it was actually a trained dog. It was an Australian Shepherd, and it was a trained dog. So he was very nice, and and then we said, okay, lights okay, location okay. He was sitting next to me. I gave him some little food so he would stay. And then the video producer said, Dora, are you okay? Can we shoot? Okay. And I said, okay. And the dog always ran away. We thought, oh shit. So dog in place, I gave him some food, lights on, producer, everybody was in place again. Okay. Dog ran away. And then we found out the key word for the dog was okay. And if somebody would say okay, he would always run back to his owner, but we didn't know that. And and I didn't know that I say so much okay, but yeah, when you're on the video saying a location, it's always okay. So, but then when we found out, we had a hard time not to say okay, and we said, oh, we are ready, okay. Oh no, we're ready. And so the dog is in it, and the Wasteland Warriors, and I'm so happy how it came out. And I'm a big Mad Max fan, especially the last movie, Fury Road, with Charlize Theron. Oh, I love it. And so I always want to do something like this, and now there's a little Mad Max kind of movie or video. So that was a lot of fun. And and the video and the song, I thought it's a good message, time for justice, because the whole world is so crazy, so much chaos. So yeah, that was the reason for that pick.
So you mentioned your love for animals. You have a song dedicated to love of animals. It's Heavenly Creatures. You've been a longtime supporter of animal rights on top of your love for animals.
Yes. And actually, I don't know, maybe 20 years ago now. And and I don't wear leather anymore. It's all like, it's artificial leather. And I became vegan just because of the animals. And and before I wasn't conscious about that stuff, and that, but you have to treat animals good. They're like our soulmates. So I wanted to write a song for the animals, and that's Heavenly Creatures. And I want to do something with the song eventually. And but I'm heavily involved with all the people who rescue animals from bad situations, and dogs, and I just adopted 2 horses, and they are actually in Austria, and they were treated really bad. So I adopted them, and they stand there and can get food and medical stuff, and and live a good life. And and I miss animals in my life. I don't miss anything like music, touring, having the great chance to work with all the people I love, and that's so awesome. But I miss animals. I don't have a family, that's okay, but I miss animals.
We have 2 rescue cats. They're black cats, and we adopted them specifically because black cats are least likely to be adopted because of the stigma behind the unluckiness of black cats.
Yes. Oh, that's good. What are their names?
The female is named Bean, and the male is named Slinky.
Oh, Bean and Slinky. Oh, cool. Oh, that's so great. I love it. Oh, yeah. Then the love from animals or for animals. I was growing up with dogs and horses when I was little, and then I had parrots actually, and I didn't know that a bird can be so that I could love something so deeply. And there were 2 birds, and they both died. And I tell you, I was so devastated. I thought, that it broke my heart. And it was actually, I was in LA doing something for MTV or something, or Headbangers Ball. There was something really cool. I was so happy. So I gave the birds, that somebody takes care of them, and then I didn't take care of them the right way. And then the one died. I couldn't get over it. It took me a long time, but the love for animals, I wanted to put it in a song. And
So another thing that's close to you besides your love of animals is your love for your fans, who pretty much support you through this entire 30-year journey, plus 30+ year journey of yours. You wrote a song called Best in Me, which is, I would say, it's a fan appreciation song.
Yes, absolutely. You're dead on. Yes, yes, yes. So yeah, totally. And yeah, they definitely bring out the best in me when I hop on stage and when I see, the faces are lighting up, and when I have like, like excitement, and that's like the best. That feels like heaven to me. Is great. So I wanted to write a song about the fans and for the fans, and that they know how much I appreciate them, and put it in writing. I have it actually tattooed on my arm, that the one who loves the fans for immer means forever. So, but I wanted to make a song for the fans too. Yeah, it's all for the fans actually. But this one specifically is.
One of my favorite songs from the album is Rise. I think that's a good anthemic song too, kind of falls in with your single. If you want to talk a little bit about that song.
Yeah, it was like, the meaning is rising above all the bullshit and stuff, just plowing through. And I didn't even know if it would make the album. So I'm so glad that you mentioned that song. And nobody has heard the album yet except you as a journalist. And, so I hope that the fans will love it too. But that was one of the first songs we have written and recorded, like maybe 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago. And that was actually the starting point for the record. So it's nice that you mentioned it. And, sometimes you write and more songs. And then the older songs, they're not so important anymore because you work on new stuff and newer stuff. But Rise was the starting point. And and it has good energy, good message. I love to have a positive message. That's so important, I think, but it's much more difficult. Like, to write about destruction is much more easy, and sometimes cooler. So I always try to write something still cool, but positive.
ROB Halford's not the only one you're doing a duet with on this album. You teamed up with Sammy Amara from the pop band Broilers for this Bond Unending. How did you get him involved?
Yes, actually, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the band. It's a huge band in Germany, huge. And I don't even know if they tour outside of Germany, but they're huge. And we both come from the same hometown, Düsseldorf, Germany. And Sammy called me up last December. I was on tour, and he said, "Doro, would you like to be a guest on our shows? They're 2 times sold out, and we do these Christmas shows, like special shows, 22nd, 23rd of December." And I said, yes, why not? It's a different kind of vein. It's rock, but they have different fans, like usually young fans, like 15, 16, 17-year-old kids. So we rehearsed, and it was actually my old rehearsal room in Düsseldorf, Germany. There's this big factory where all the metal bands rehearse and many, many other bands. So I went back to my old rehearsal room. It was great. It was great for me. It brought back great memories. And then we started doing one song, and then worked out so good. And then he said, "Shall we do 2 songs?" I said, "Yeah, how about Breaking the Law?" He said, "Oh, great." So we did 2 songs, and we did 2 songs each night, and the people went crazy. It was great, and really, really young kids. And I thought, wow, man, that's interesting. Totally different audience from our audience. Yeah, and then we started to become friends, and we said, hey, let's do something together. And Bond Unending was the last song we wrote for this album. Total Eclipse of the Heart was the last recording, but Bond Unending was the last song we wrote for this album. And we just got together in our old hometown, Düsseldorf. And I'm a proud green card holder, so that's the reason why I say old hometown. But I always go back and forth, and I love the States, that. But I was in Düsseldorf, and we went to his studio and wrote the song. And I thought, oh, that sounds pretty good. And I said, Sammy, I'm just finishing up my album, so shall we put it on this album? I said, yes. And then we have to be quick. And then we quickly mixed it and mastered it. And and then made the album. And I think maybe it's something good for radio. Like sometimes, the normal rock stations, they will not play our stuff because they think it's too heavy or too metal. But I think this song might have a chance. And it was fun, most of all. And it talks about deep friendship. Bond and Ending is about friendship. Everybody can do their own interpretation. Of course, you can, get whatever, your boyfriend, girlfriend, your wife, whatever. But for me, it's deep friendship, which I always feel, especially towards the fans and towards, the people I work with, my band. And, so that means a lot to me.
You've been duetting with other heavy metal heavyweights since the beginning of your career, basically, but someone else, Dolly Parton, is doing her first collaboration with heavy metal and hard rock guys, ROB HALFORD being one of them on her Rockstar album. She waited 50 years before she did anything rock. What do you think about that?
I think it's great. I love Dolly Parton. I think she's such an icon. And actually, I was 16 years in Nashville doing songs, because they have fantastic songwriters. So every couple of years I went to Nashville, and of course I'm familiar with the whole scene, and everybody loves Dolly Parton there. She's she's a goddess. So when I heard that ROB HALFORD and Dolly Parton are doing a duet, and it's super, and all the other great guests on her record, wow, that's amazing. I think it's amazing. And I think she's such a cool woman. And, she's really, she's cool. She always says what she wants, and, and she's being herself. I love that she plays guitar with the long fingernails. Sometimes she has these long nails and then plays the guitar. That's like, wow. I think she's cool. I've seen her on many talk shows. She was always funny as hell, very cool, young at heart, young in spirit. And I think she's one of these icons like Johnny Cash and Dolly Parton and Lemmy, and a very, very important personality in this world. And I loved it. I think it's so cool. Super, super.
The upcoming album has some great packages. You've always been good with the packaging of your product, whether it be vinyls or bonuses or CDs. You got a lot going on with this package. You got a super box set, which has CDs, a vinyl, a pendant, a poster. You've always been good with that. And that's important to the fans, right?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I think the old school metalheads, they love that stuff. And I personally love it. I'm still vinyl collector. I still love vinyl. I love picture discs. They're all, I'm here actually at my mom's, but at home I have the whole walls are full of picture discs. Now I live in Miami. Everything is stacked with good stuff and box sets of other bands, and I love it. And I think it's important to keep that culture alive, especially vinyl. I think it means something, and it makes you feel different. Of course, you can do everything on Spotify, but I love to have something in my hand. It's the whole package, the whole artwork, the pictures, the songs, the whole thing is important, and not just one single song. So I always want to keep up that, artwork. And on the last Triumph and Agony live record, we did even a cassette, and the cassettes were very, people loved it. I think most of them, they just collected it and put it on their little shelf. They didn't have a cassette player anymore, but they wanted to have it. So I always love to do something special. And in the box set of Magic Diamonds, that was a best of, I think, 52 songs. And we put some perfume in it, the True at Heart perfume for men and for women. And that was that went immediately. That was unfortunately, we couldn't ship it to the States because you can't ship any alcohol. And the perfume has alcohol in it, so that was the problem. But some of the diehard fans, they got it, they got the limited edition box set. And so I love doing that stuff, and I hope I can do it many, many more times. And since everything is now digital, it's sometimes hard to convince the record companies still doing vinyl and CDs and cassettes. So but I'm always trying and working hard to get all that stuff. And
you have a big 40th anniversary concert coming up on October 28th, 2023 in Dusseldorf, Germany, your home area. What can people expect coming to the show?
It's almost sold out, but yeah, many guests. Maybe something like what we did in Wacken, Honor Lemmy with some special guests. I think maybe Miller of Creator, he said he might come. Biff of Saxon, he said he might come. So many other great guests. And then, of course, great pyro show. The stage is just getting manufactured. And I want to do it in Düsseldorf because that's when everything started. We had no idea that we could go to America or could tour the world or do so many records. So going back to your roots is sometimes good. And, seeing all the people from my old rehearsal room, old band members. So, yeah. But the first anniversary, was now in Wacken. And next year I want to celebrate the 40th anniversary worldwide with great festivals and shows. And, of course, in America. We play actually the Prog Power Festival in Atlanta on the 6th of September. So, and we want to do a special set. And my old Warlock guitar player will be there, Tommy Bowen. And we will do some great classic Warlock stuff and some new stuff. But I'm so much looking forward. And there's some other festivals already lined up in the States. In Houston next year, the Hell's Heroes Festival, Hell's Heroes, yeah. And so more festivals are coming in. I'm happy. And we always want to put on a great show and play all the highlights. And of course, some of the nice new songs. And and then making many, many more records, I hope,
Well, you had a hell of a show at Wacken not too long ago on the 2nd, but it was torrential downpours, mud, and just general craziness, right?
Yes, totally. There was so much mud, and people were swimming in the mud and dancing in the mud, and and it was awesome. The atmosphere was great. It didn't matter that it was so much rain or mud. We had a great show, a great time. All the guests could come up on stage, so I was happy. And the people who weren't allowed in anymore, because I think now there were 60,000 people there, and they all got reimbursed, and they have like the first that they can get the tickets like first. But I think it's already sold out. I heard Wacken is sold out again. Oh God! But I feel for the people who couldn't get in. But because the weather, it was so bad, and nature is sometimes more powerful than us metalheads, unfortunately. But we were happy that the festival could even take place, But when we were stuck in traffic, hours and hours, then actually people, they had loud music on. They were like having a little picnic outside of their car. They had some beers. They actually had a good time. So I think, people tried to make the best out of the situation. And sometimes mud, it can be so great, like you feel totally alive, you feel like, surviving that, then you feel strong, and it's like it was cool. And I was many, many, many times in Wacken, and it was many times pretty much raining and full of mud. This time was really severe, but it was fun too, as long as it's not dangerous, like then I think everything is okay. But when people like, sliding in the mud, they have a hell of a time. And I saw so many people covered with mud from head to toe. You couldn't even see who it is anymore. You could just see the eyes and then the mud. It was hilarious. But everybody had a great time, and we had a great time. And yeah.
In a career that started in 1983 to today, is there anything left that you feel you haven't accomplished?
Actually, I tell you, all my dreams came true. Working with Gene Simmons, this one record, I was a big Kiss fan. Oh my God, that was so unbelievable. Then working with Lemmy in the studio was so great. We did 3 duets. And now working with Rob Halford, I tell you, there's nothing left for me that I would, really, could wish for. I would like to continue many more years, do many more duets. Like, yeah, when we were on stage, actually, Udo Dirk Schneider was there and Joey Belladonna. And we, after the gig, we said, oh, we should do something together again. Yes. So you can expect more duets. And yeah, but actually, all my dreams came true. One dream probably is not happening in this lifetime. I would have loved to do something with Ronnie James Dio because I was a big Ronnie James Dio fan. So hopefully in another lifetime. And yeah, or doing something with David Coverdale or James Hetfield, or but as of now, I'm so happy and really grateful that Rob did these 2 duets with me. Wow, that's like that's to me mind blowing, because I'm still like the little chick from Düsseldorf, Germany, who's like playing with their bands, and I still feel like sometimes I feel like 25, just starting out, and every record is new, every record is a new adventure, every festival, every tour. So yeah, so I'm happy, and I hope the fans love to see our live shows. Hopefully they love the record, and then then I have motivation, inspiration for the next 20 years. So
there you go. Those are all the questions I have for you today, Doro. The new album, Conqueress, Forever Strong and Proud, comes out October 27th on Nuclear Blast. I've heard the album. I know fans are going to love it. And I wish you the best of luck with everything. And I'm sure I will see you when you make it to the States.
Oh, yes, you will. Thank you so much. See you maybe at Prog Power, 6th of September in Atlanta or wherever. We will definitely line up a tour and more festivals. And I'm so happy to see the American metalheads and fans. That's the best. So thank you so much for having me. And see you soon, and all the best. Take care.